Hello, heretics! Welcome to Double Skull. So today we're going to do a battle report between the monster hunters of the Blood Moon and the Obsidian Syndicate, the local racket in the underhive of Hive Octavian, one of the hives on planet Midgard. So the scenario here is that the Blood Moon hunters have been approached by a local rapscallion to spike the water supply of the local racket, the Obsidian Syndicate, and thereby hopefully take them out of action. Just who their mystery employer works for is a mystery for now. But obviously the Syndicate are none too happy with their only source of water in the area being spiked, so are moving to intercept. Led by their legendary sniper, Lucian Graves, they're not going to take this lying down. However, rumour has it that this particular watering hole may be home to more than just mutated fish. The monstrous Cephalorex is said to lurk in its oily depths. Beware all who approach. Still, that shouldn't be a problem for renowned monster hunters of the Blood Moon, should it? So this is going to be a 600-point fight. Each gang is actually bringing 4 guys. The objective of the Blood Moon Hunters is to spike the water supplies. That's a double action whilst in base-to-base contact with the central pool in the middle of the board. Any team member can do it. They'll obviously have to start their turn stood up next to it, though. You can't move and then perform a double action, so you'll have to be stood there and not blasted apart before you can perform your double action the next turn. The objective of the Obsidian Syndicate is to stop them by all means necessary. Now in this one there are going to be no bottle tests, no bottle checks regardless of how many people are taken out of action, so the only way for the Obsidian Syndicate to win is to stop the Blood Moon Hunters in their tracks. So they have to basically take everyone out of action. The Blood Moon Hunters have to perform their double action to spike the pool. You can voluntarily bottle out if it's all getting a bit too hairy, but other than that, you're there for the long haul. The Cephalorex, the monster, will appear at the end of the first turn. Anyone taking it out will receive the bounty of 30 credits. Other than that, game on. So the Blood Moon Hunters are led by Tiberius Cage with his melter gun and hip shooting. BS 2+ now, having gained an advancement in the last game. Then onto the champion, Enderthor Onyx Blade, Power Sword, Man-Stopper rounds, a bit of a brute in close combat, and the sniper, Morgan Creed, long las, 3+ BS, so deadly at long range, no armor, but why the hell would he need it? The new guy, Clint Tombstone, he's just been hired, using the winnings from the last game, shotgun with Inferno ammo, BS 3+, so he's going to burn anything that he sees. Onto the Obsidian Syndicate, we've got Lucian Graves, the Master Sniper, with Zen Shootist, the Word Power, and also a long rifle. Rachna, the Psygeist, with the Psychomancer's Harness, so super fast, move 8 before they've even started. Ferrus is an Aberrant with a Power Pick, so brutal in close combat, as all big lumps are. And there's always got to be one Ghost Ichabod, just running around with an auto gun. Standard auto gun bod. What would a game of Necromunda be without one guy with an auto gun? So there we have it. Tactics cards. So for the Blood Moon Hunters, we've got What's a Few Teeth, so they can ignore 1 flesh wound. And Duck and Cover, one guy can perform 2 shoot actions if he's using a pistol or basic weapon. The Syndicate have got Last Gasp, which means a guy can perform 1 last attack when he's taken out of action, and Snapfire, meaning he can return fire with a basic or pistol weapon when shot at. On to deployment, we have Tiberius and Clint set up behind the big splurge plant, leaking goop all over the place, -1 toughness if you're shot whilst in that. Then we've got Enderthor and Morgan set up in the other corner of the cross near the watchtower. Lucian up high, getting ready to take advantage of the high ground for his sniping position, and Arachna dangerously close to the river. And finally we've got Ferrus and Ichabod on the 4th point of the cross. Right, and here we go. So priority phase, turn 1. Obsidian Syndicate of the Black Dice, and glory to the 4-armed Emperor, they take it. Obsidian Syndicate Heading off first, Ferrus the Abhorrent, Abhorrent, Ablablint. He moves first, getting under cover behind that bit of stanchion under the walkway. Next up, we have Enderthor, the Blood Moon Hunters champion, with the finest beard in the Underhive. Managed to move without tripping over his lengthy facial hair. Gets behind cover, well, not really behind cover, pretty much out in the open, but not many people can see him. Apart from Ichabod, who probably has a direct line of sight to him now, but he had to move to get there, so he can't shoot this turn either. Still, lovely view of the surrounding area. Next we have Tiberius Cage, doing his best Carl Weathers impression, double timing up to behind the barrier, getting quite close to the water. Well, hopefully he can dump his load. It does need to be next to it though, and it's a double action, so I won't be able to do it this turn or next turn. Needs to start the turn next to it. Lucian, the foul leader of the Obsidian Syndicate. Corrupt to his very core. He moves forward, single move, so he's going to have a shot. So, can just about make out Tiberius there. Sniper build, 3+ BS, long rifle. So it's hard cover, but he's got an infra sight. So all in all, we're looking at 4s to hit. Half him poking out, just take an arm off. Bosh, hit, just. Not jammed. 3s to wound, and he's wounded. Strength 4, toughness 3. 6+ save, because it's -1. 5, so he's failed. So straight away, first shot of the game, boosh. And the leader of the Venators is pinned, and he's lost a wound. He's got 1 left, but straight away he's down to half strength. So it's the new guy, Clint Tombstone, new recruit, moves up in support of his leader. Had a bit of difficulty getting in there, mainly due to my Ogrin-sized sausage fingers. But yeah, he's just behind the Venator leader, backing him up. Arachna of the Obsidian Syndicate has to leap over the river due to some very poorly placed setting up. Succeeds, initiative check, so leaps over. With the Psychomancer's Harness, got a massive move, double move, 16. So absolutely flies around the corner and gets up right next to Enderthor, the champion, who's now disturbingly close and in range of a possibly devastating charge next turn. Probably out of range of a counter charge back from Enderthor, so probably hoping to win priority so he can get the hell out of dodge. Morgan Creed, the deadly Blood Moon sniper, moves up, single move, trying to get a bead on Ichabod. Stood in the distance on a walkway. Yeah, you can see him. Partial cover behind the ammo crate. Just shoot the ammo crate. Obviously, I've seen films. That'll blow up. Perfect. Failing that, try and shoot the man. Long las, 3+ BS. Long range, so it's +1, -2 for hard cover, so you're looking at 4s overall. Yeah, here we go. You can see that lovely smiling face. 4+ to hit, and he's hit, not jammed. Hit on a 5. Strength 4, toughness 3. 3s to wound, he's wounded. No armor for Ichabod, so that goes straight through, and he's injury roll. Seriously injured. So face down, so quite another brutal round from the snipers. Longshot is winning the day. Face down in a pool of his own blood. Broken bones everywhere, vomiting all over himself. So into the end phase. So in this scenario, there's no bottle checks. So we just go straight for the recovery rolls. Ichabod's the only one face down. And he is dead. Skulls up, out of action. Forgot to film the roll, but no long-term effect. However, last gasp. So just as he goes out of action, he can perform one last shot. One vengeance shot. To try and right the wrongs of a misspent life. So he raises his gun, covered in his own corrupt blood and guts, and sights down and spots Enderthor in the distance, completely stood in the open. Your beard won't save you now. 4+ to hit with his auto gun, and he's hit just rapid fire 2, so he's hit twice. Strength 3, toughness 3, 4s to wound. Both wounds. He's only got 2 wounds, 5+ save, so he needs to save one of them. Failed both, so the champion is straight to an injury dice. Seriously injured. Absolutely brutal. That couldn't have gone any better, stroke worse, depending on whose side you're rooting for at this point. face down in the dirt. Eat mud, imperial filth. And with that last gasp, Ichabod bleeds out on the floor. Special event at the end of End Phase 1, the Cephalorex arises from the depths. A leviathan of the ancient world, sent to protect his domain and kill as many people as possible in the meantime. 30 credits and 2 XP for anyone who can take it out. Priority turn 2, and the Syndicate win it again. But before then, first to activate, the Cephalorex gets to go first. Now, he may be a giant, slimy, tentacled monster of the deep, but that's not to say that he's not fair, so he always randomizes his attacks. And first off, 6, Lucian. So the Cephalorex isn't the best parent in the world. It actually throws its young with a 3-inch template, so it'll launch its youngling, 5+ to hit, missed, scatters, so still has a chance of hitting. Scatters 4 inches behind Lucian, so with the smaller template that's not going to hit anything unfortunately, but it does remain on the board unless the Cephalorex is killed, so it will remain there. If anyone potters past it, they're going to get a nasty tentacle surprise. So first to activate for the Syndicate is Arachna, charging Enderthor, who's lying on the floor, going for a coup de grace, 10 inches, succeeds, needed a 3 or 4 to get in. So manages to get there with the Psychomancer's harness and the super move. Charges all the way around, no need to roll, just a stomp on the back of the head with the coup de grace. Bosh. Right on the melon. Missed next game, 35, so could be worse, but he's still nevertheless out of action. And that's a big blow. In the last game, Enderthor actually killed the leader of the Orlocks, so he's a big player for them. Gonna be missed. However, it does leave Arachna stood right out in the open. Morgan Creed turns and aims. Aimed shot at close range. Long rifle at close range doesn't do an awful lot, but 3+ to hit anyway, so 2+ for aiming. I say right out in the open. Only a 1 will miss at this point. 2 just, but possibly jammed. Going for the ammo roll. Ammo check on the long las is good though. 2+, standard, well-crafted las weaponry, not jammed. Toughness 3 to strength 4, so 3's to wound, and it's wounded on a 5. 5 up save on the mesh. Failed. No armor penetration on the long las, that doesn't matter. Injury dice. Seriously injured, so face down again. Another one bites the dust, chewing worms out of the ground. There we go, face down, seriously injured, blood spilling all over the hazard markings. They did warn you there was a hazard there. Health and safety first. Ooh, Lucian Graves, Obsidian Syndicate leader, is using his weird power, Zen Shootist, 5+ willpower. Success, so he's cast it. That's one of the new powers out of the Outcasts book, so 2+ to hit, basically in any scenario. So 2+ BS, but it ignores all cover. So whilst his power's maintained, anything but a 1, and he's hitting. So he's taking revenge again. This is just a constant day of vengeance. 2+ to hit against Morgan. He's hit, not jammed, straight between the eyes. 3 against 4, so it's 3's to wound. Wounded. No armor for Morgan, so straight to the injury dice. Oh, and he is toast. So he is got his head clean blown off. And he's hobbled. So actually he got his legs clean blown off. So that's -1 movement going forward. And he's going to miss next game. So a heavy price to pay. Straight for the kneecap. Yet another brutal shot. These guys have seriously got that iron today. So only 2 guys left for the Blood Moon Hunters. Tiberius Cage stands up, the leader, got his melter gun at the ready, and he's going for the Cephalorex, trying to claim the bounty, so take out the big slimy swine. So the melter gun, which is strength 8, even against a big fella like this, who's toughness 5 with 3 wounds, 1 hit, could very easily do it with the melter gun. This thing's designed for breaking tanks. 2+ to hit, it's long range, so it's not going to be an insta-kill if it does hit. 2+, and yeah, what was I saying about people having their eyes in? He absolutely balls is that right up. Blasts off into the distance instead. Just a warning shot across the bow. Oh, Ferrus, the aberrant of the Syndicate, he double moves. He's got no ranged weapons, so he's just trying to get as close as possible, hoping that he wins priority next turn, so he can get the charge in on Tiberius. Not sure if he's seen Clint Tombstone there, though, lurking in the background. Half of the time I lose my own guys in this game, let alone the opposition. Nevertheless, Clint activates, spits a gob of chewing tobacco onto the floor and moves up into close range. Just a single move action there. Move into close range of Ferrus, the Aberrant. Now he's got Inferno ammo in his shotgun, one of the benefits of being a Venator. So any hit will also have Blaze upon it. Quite a brutal bit of ammunition. Not quite as bad as the acid rounds from the Escher, but still, nevertheless, horrible. 3 to hit at this range. Soft cover, but short range. Hit, not jammed. Straight to the face. Toughness 4, strength 4 on Inferno round, so it's 4+ to wound. Not wounded. Blaze 4+ though. And he is on fire, so the Aberrant burns. Pinned and burning, so lying on the floor, burning alive. Not the nicest way to go, but smells delicious. End phase, no bottle checks. Arachna is still seriously injured, so still laying on the floor, broken bones. On to turn 3, priority phase. Can the Hunters win one this turn round? And yes, so Blood Moon Hunters go first. They win priority, but first of all, once again, it is the Cephalorex who will go before everyone else. So random roll, 1 to 5, only 5 people left on the table, and it's 1 Clint Tombstone. So after his heroic flaming shot, the Cephalorex turns his attention towards the gunshot. Again, throws one of his younglings, its. Missed, but it will scatter once again. 5 inches back towards himself. Right, so that's got a chance of clipping Ferrus the Aberrant, and it does. So with the 3-inch template, it does clip Ferrus. Strength 5, toughness 4. Wounded. In a bit of trouble here. On fire and getting mauled to death by a giant tentacle. Damage 2, armor pen 2, so straight injury roll and seriously injured. So on fire and face down. That's a big blow. Random event there from the Cephalorex. If you can't take out the enemy, let the giant octopus do it for you. So the Hunters, looking not too bad at the minute. Tiberius Cage moves forward. Now he's in contact with the water, so it's a double action to perform the mission objective, to spike the water. So it looks like he's in alright shape. However, obviously the leader of the Obsidian Syndicate is hitting everything on 2+ at the minute. Tiberius going for a shot on the Cephalorex, see if he can take it out once and for all. 2's to hit. He's hit, not jammed. So finally the melter gun comes through. 3's to wound. He's wounded. So at close range, that is going to wipe him. 3 wounds, 3 damage. Bosh, out of action. So the Cephalorex bites the dirt, melted into calamari, which unfortunately sinks to the bottom. A delicious treat for any mutant fish lurking at the bottom of the pool. So big shot here for Lucian. He needs to at least pin Tiberius, who is currently in contact with the pool. If he doesn't pin him, then he's going to start next turn stood up and able to use a double action to complete the mission objective. So he needs to at least put him on his arse so that he can't do the double activation next turn. So he maintained his weird power, so it's 2+ to hit. 6, he's hit but jammed. So possible flying the ointment here. 4+ on a long rifle. It's a 2, so he is jammed. Should have brought slightly more ammunition or a slightly more reliable gun. He has wounded. 6+ save. 5 failed, so all comes down to this. Bosh. Can he take him out? Injury dice. Whoa! It's a flesh wound, so he's still in action. He's lying on the edge of the pool. He will need an initiative check, actually, but with what's a few teeth, he can ignore the flesh wound, so he's just pinned at the moment still. That does mean that he initiative check has passed, so he's not falling in the water, but it does mean that he still has to stand up, so he can't perform a double action. And Clint is not next to the water at the minute, so he can't. He's going to have to move forward just double time, ignoring the body that's burning on the floor of the apparent. So next turn, this boils down to, can Lucian reload on his first action and take Clint out on his second, or at least pin him to prevent him performing the double action? If he can't, then Clint will do his double action, spike the pool, and take the game. In the meantime, Ferrus the Abhorrent puts himself out, so he's no longer burning. So succeeded his blaze test. Arachna crawls forward, still trying to keep herself in it. Possible, maybe, last ditch attempt if they can recover in the end phase, put themselves back in business. For now though, they're just crawling around, not on fire anymore, so could be worse. So end phase, Arachna is still seriously injured, and Ferrus, who's a lot closer to the action, see if he can bring himself back to life. Yes, just a flesh wound, so he's back in business. So he flips over, will be able to stand up and move. He won't be able to charge this turn. However, this really all boils down to whether or not this reload comes in. So priority phase, this is a big one. The Syndicate need this in order to have any chance at all. And they've got it. So they will go first. Lucian will activate. He needs to reload on his first action and then have a shot at Clint on his second in order to be able to take him out and prevent him from completing his mission. So it all boils down to this. 4+ on the long rifle to reload. And he's failed to reload. He'll attempt to again, but there's pretty much no point. He has reloaded, just a Pyrrhic victory at the end, so he's reloaded his gun, but he doesn't have any actions left to shoot. So Clint performs a double action, spikes the water, drops the canister in there, poisons the well, and takes the victory. So objective complete for the Blood Moon Hunters. The hero, modest hero of the hour, is the new boy, Clint Tombstone. Came down to the last roll. I need a vacation. So there we have it. Blood Moon Hunters win it by the skin of their teeth. They get 40 credits for just completing the objective, 30 credits for having taken out the Cephalorex, so that's 70 in total. What do you think they should spend it on? So what we're going to do is not buy anything as yet. If you want to put in the comments what you think they should spend their 70 on, bearing in mind that one guy just got hobbled, so possibly some speedier way to get around for him, a new guy with possibly terrible equipment, save up for an ambot. Anything you think, what should be the next addition to the Blood Moon Hunters gang going forward? Leave your comments, like and subscribe if you did, or if there's a hate button, push that if you despised it and want to show your venom. But other than that, hopefully see you next time. And the Emperor protects, be it the normal or the 4-armed version.